Hello, hello, everybody. Let's go. It is stream time. Haven't streamed for like a week, so you know I owe you like a 2 hour stream. So let's do it. During this stream, I am gonna go try to catch up on some Star Citizen news a little bit, but I'm also gonna try to see if we can improve our little Twitch stream thing here. Whatever we can do while it's live, we gonna see. We gonna see what we can do. We're gonna see what we can do. Cause there's people that have all these little buttons and stuff on their Twitch, and I don't have them. So we're gonna see if I can add some buttons. Well, what's going on, everybody? I'll give y'all some time to catch up and hop on. It is April 18th. I already changed my date for once. So shouldn't have to do that. Shouldn't have to hop in there. All right, let's go check out some news on Star Citizen. So here, first, so one of the things that I wanted to do was just see if I missed anything. Doesn't look like it. Looks like this is all 4.1 stuff. Oh wait, spring celebration. What this? Um, if you want to let me view it, Star Citizen. Hello. I'm clicking, and you're not going. Let's F5 this. Spring celebration, view offers. All right, I don't know what's going on there. Hold on. Let's see if we can. There we go. That was weird. I don't know why it doesn't want to open. All right. New careers. Career kits are back, whether you're new to Star Citizen or ready to jump ship. Okay, this is what somebody was talking about. See what we did there? Mining, FPS, salvaging, medical, cargo. Ready to launch. Fresh paints. Okay. Ready for anything career kit. What is this? Backpack, multi-tool, mining attachment, tractor beam, healing attachment. Okay, I see, folks. I see. Okay, so this is interesting. This is new, right? They're basically selling you like little packs of stuff that come with everything you need, like right out the gate. So as soon as you wake up, you can go and start playing the game. All right, $10. They're not asking for a whole lot, so I support it. If they were asking for like 20 or 30 bucks, this would be weird. But yeah, I'm normally not one for purchasing armors and stuff like that. But if you see something you really like, I could see why you would get it. Like this combat one looks pretty cool. But I'm a huge fan of black and red, so I may be a little biased there. The mining one, I'm not sure they sell that everywhere, as in like not on every base, so it would probably be okay to get something like that. I don't know how much FPS salvaging people do, but like I don't really do a whole lot of that, so I can imagine you getting that though. The medical career kit one looks pretty cool. Cargo career kit. I don't think you need special armors for cargo unless it helps you move more stuff. Doesn't look like it helps you move more stuff, so maybe if the backpack holds more stuff or something, I don't know. All right, then paints. Okay, I'm definitely getting the cobalt paint. See that? There it is. It's in there. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm definitely getting the paints. I am in paint season though. So I just want to preface the fact that when I get paints, it's because I'm pretty much done buying ships. Like I don't have a whole lot of ships that I still want in this game. Like, and even if I did want them, it would be for a reason. Like, not. It would be like I'm replacing something. So I'm in paint buying season. I do not suggest that other people purchase these. I have to move around some credit stuff to even purchase this stuff. So hold on. Let's see. There is something I wanted to do though. I think it's. There we go. All right, back here. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna be adding stuff to my cart here. This is why we do this live. Oh, oh, they're officially supporting the HCS voice pack thing. Has this always been supported? Has this always been supported, folks? I did not know this. Huh. I am gonna have a Zeus MR, so I am considering these paints. They're limited time paints though. This one looks pretty cool. I don't know if I'll buy every paint. The Fortune, I won't have one of those. I'll definitely get this because I have a bunch of F7s. We're gonna talk about this because I want to check this out. What else? Guardian. Don't really need the Guardian paints. They look cool though. So all right, I only need 2 of these. That's $12. The Zeus paints. I wish they sold all of these in a pack. I might buy the pack because I need 1, 2. I don't need those, but I could use all the rest of these. I don't have a Guardian, but I'll definitely be buying a Guardian in game. So they should have sold that as a pack. Unless people just don't buy those packs or something. But okay, that's cool. Okay, so this is not much. It's just the career kits. If I was gonna buy a career kit, I would say I don't know what does this do? You get the paramed medical, like, yeah, this is just normal stuff. If you like the color of this, that's cool. I think the ones to get here are the salvage career kit, the mining career kit, and I mean I like the combat career kit, but that's just because I like the way it looks, and I do like the weapon it comes with, the P4. So I mean but that just depends on like your taste. They're $10, so I don't think you're wasting money by getting them. I personally would not buy armor yet in this game, unless you're at the late stage of like you're purchasing, like if you've already bought all the ships you want, or you're not spending a whole lot more money on ships and stuff, and you just want to splurge a little bit. I get it, but me personally, I'll get some skins here, but that's the way I'm gonna support. All right, let's check this out. Okay, so this does take you to HCS voice pack. So this is a whole different website. But the fact that they're listing it on the Star Citizen website, I have never seen that. Maybe other people have seen that. I have never seen it. Where you can do the voice commands and then it'll do the thing that you ask it to do in the game. I'm still not sold on it. I think I'll probably, if I do get something like this, I would get it closer to. Oh, okay, Nuberfire has one. That's cool. I would get it closer to. Oh, it's like an AI thing. Okay, that's cool though. It's really cool, but I think I would wait to get something like this until closer to when the game is coming out. Yeah. What's going on? Did I lose control here? All right, let's. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole spring celebration thing. Let's go back to me. Uh, some nice little paints in there. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? There's a free fly going on, I think, until let's see when the free fly goes until, which is interesting that they're doing a free fly in April, considering that Invictus is coming up next month. But at the same time, they don't really do a whole lot for April, like as far as events. So I can respect a free fly. It ends on the 28th, so you still got 9 more days if you don't include today. You got 9 more days to fly. You can fly one of these ships. So they're giving you, yeah, that's a decent little range of ships. You got a mining ship. Yeah, you got a little bit in there. I feel like I've seen this picture somewhere before. Oh, this is like the help day stuff. I've seen this. I've seen this before. Oh, do we have a ship sale going on? It's only 6 vehicles, but all right, let's see. Arrow. My opinions on the Arrow are that the Titan is better in almost every way, but the Arrow is specifically for people who prefer what the Arrow can do. The C1 Spirit is an excellent ship no matter who buys it, really. It's a great daily driver. The Corsair is a great ship if you play with more than one person. It's a great daily driver and a vehicle transporter. Cutter is a great starter ship daily driver. And then, of course, you got the Fortune, the solo salvager, which I think is a little overpriced. Not by much, but I do think it's like $10 to $20 overpriced. So I would only get this if I could get a few dollars off of it. Same thing with the Prospector. Now that we have the Golem, I think the Prospector is starting to look overpriced, but I do think that they can fix it to where it doesn't feel like that. Got a miner starter pack where you can get the Golem. See, look, 67 versus 155. This is not $100 more worth of ship, so that's my opinion there. Where did this come from? I understand the PC specs. They're basically saying if you have a crappy computer, you're not going to be able to do the free fly. But I think most people already know that. But somebody probably complained and they were like, no, we're not doing that. Okay, so nice little baby ship sale. I'll go in and I'll see if there's any CCUs. If there's some CCUs, I'll talk about it. But other than that, I'll skip over it and go to some other stuff. I doubt there's CCUs, but we do need a Prospector CCU. This would be the perfect time for that. CIG. We got a Nova CCU. I think that's like $10. Is that the old one though? I think that's the old one. The Nova CCU looks old to me. We got a Corsair CCU. That's the, yeah, there's a $20 Corsair CCU. And then we have a Mole CCU. So, nope, no Prospector CCU. We got a Nova, Mole, and Corsair CCU. All right, so let me see. I think those are ones I had before. So if that's the case, then we don't really need to talk about those. What's up, Disarray? What's up, Citizen Ninja? What's up, Harold Spark? What's up, Blue 4? What's up, Diesel Tech, Risto, Yuso, 10, Matthew Ward? What's up? All right, so let me see what Let me see what upgrades I have here. Because I just bought some upgrades. So I have a golem upgrade. That's on purpose. Yeah, I already have these upgrades. Mole upgrade, Corsair upgrade, Nova upgrade. So yeah, those are old. Those were available back on March 28th, almost a month ago. So those have been available for a while. Why do I have a hammerhead upgrade? Have a redeemer upgrade. I bought a lot of stuff that I don't need. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I think, yeah, I might have a few things that I really don't need in here. Um, yeah, I got these ballista upgrades that I don't need. But it's just rare that you get upgrades at that low. So, oh, I got multiple fortune upgrades, so I can get rid of one of these. Yeah. So let me change some things in so I can complete my purchase. What else we got? What else do we need to get rid of? Something I got multiples of. I know I have multiple upgrades for the ballista, so that'll probably be what I get rid of. So I do this thing where I buy at least one of almost every CCU until I am completely done with all of my upgrades, as far as like all of my ships are actually purchased and they're not waiting on a CCU chain piece, or my chains are actually complete. Until that day, I am buying things. I am buying upgrades. And then I'll just melt them at the end. And if I have enough, I'll use that to either purchase a ship or upgrade a ship. What else? I would think I was getting rid of. It was a ballista upgrade. That's what I was getting rid of. That stuff can sit in the cart for a while. I thought I bought like I thought I bought a paint or something that I didn't need, but I'm looking in here and I don't see it. I might have melted too many of the things I didn't need already. I have a Zeus Mark II ES upgrade. That's the extra thing. Yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of that. We don't need that. And now we can complete our purchase of what was I buying? 2 skins, I think. It was an Atlas skin and a F7 skin. Ooh, you know what I can do here? I can do 1180. There we go. Now I got to pay 20 cents. Oh, it's got to be at least $50. It's got to be at least. Okay, hold on. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. It does have to be at least 50 cents. So I have to do. How do I do this? $11.30. Yeah, that sounds right. No, it's $12. I want to get rid of the 11.80. Oh, I'll just do $1. I'm doing way too much math right now. Oh my goodness, this thing is taking too long. What are you doing, CIG? Come on. Wait, what? Now it's saying I only have $4 worth of credits. This thing is tripping. Yeah, I'll have to do that later because CIG's thing is tripping right now. Yeah, I'm hoping that we get that prospector CCU. That's like the last one I need for so many. I think I need a prospector CTU or CCU, and I need a what is it? Like a harbinger or yeah, like a harbinger or sentinel or something like that. I need one of those too. I have not heard anything about the Perseus. I feel like if we don't have leaks of the Perseus by the week before, then they're not releasing the Perseus. I think the Perseus is coming. Well, I don't think it's coming at Invictus. I think it's possible that it comes at Invictus, but what I think is more likely is that we get a for Invictus we get like an update on the Perseus. Yep, no info on the Liberator either. Yeah, if they drop an Anvil carrier or something like that, I mean, I have ships that I can change out for that though. Like I definitely have an extraneous ship because I bought a Heart Seeker because I bought an F7CM Mark II, and then I have the Heart Seeker upgrade. I'm keeping the Heart Seeker upgrade, but I do not need that F7CM anymore. So whatever that turns into, yeah. What's up, Harold Spark? What's up, Ethification? Space Marine, what's up? What branch was I with? In the Army? I was in the Army and unit. I was with like multiple units. 171. What was that? 171 Cav. I was with. Man, I'm forgetting my first unit. Oh, what was my field artillery unit? It was Fort Riley, Kansas. We were Big Red 1. Oh my goodness. I can't remember. I can't remember. 316? I think we were 316 field artillery. I'd have to call my buddies up. Um, yeah, I got both mechs. I'll probably own all of the mechs. To be completely honest with you, I don't know what it is that mechs do for me, but they're cheap and they add to the fleet without feeling like I'm adding to the fleet. So whatever mechs they have, I'm probably going to pick them up. I still dislike the way that they sold the first mech, the Atlas, but it is what it is. Um, and then what unit was I with? So I switched to Signal, and then I was up in Hawaii. Man, I can't remember any of these units. No, 232 FA, not 316. I'm thinking of Austin 316 because I watched too much WWE in the 90s. 232 FA, Field Artillery. 232 FA. And that was in Fort Riley. So that's answering it's same Mishi? It's a Mishi? Itsami. Oh, Itsami Mishi. Mishi. Okay. I think that's it. If the Idris comes for Invictus, that would be crazy. I think they said they were waiting for the Idris is done though. So it's very possible. But I thought they were waiting for the release of Squadron. I have not seen that, but it's believable because the Idris is pretty much done. What's up, David Baldwin? What's up, Mr. Andir? All right. So what I was doing before I was so rudely interrupted by my purchases not going through correctly. Yeah, I'll probably have to put in a ticket for that because it looks like they just took things from me without giving me my credits back. Yeah, I just reclaimed like $15 worth of credits, and then now it's only showing. Then I had an error when I was trying to purchase something, and now it's only showing that I have $4 worth of credits. So I'll definitely have to put a ticket in for that. That's very weird. So yeah, I'll have to figure that out. All right. So before that though, I think I was looking up details on the free fly, or did I? Yeah, I already did that. It ends on the 28th. Yeah, and then I went over the packs and stuff. Okay, so then I just need to check out our dev tracker and our com links. We did hit the $800 million mark. If you have not been tracking the funding, we did hit the $800 million mark. So if you didn't know, we're about 4 million over the $800 million mark, which means, and you know, every 100 million, actually every 50 million, we get an article that says $800 million in spending and Squadron 42 is not here, and Star Citizen is not here. Like it's just how it is. That's what we're gonna get every single time. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. Already looked at the spring celebration. The Dev Diary, amazing. That Inside Star Citizen, I met that guy at CitizenCon. He was really cool. I hope he still puts my hair in. I mean, technically he already did put my hair in the game, but I was wearing a very specific style at Star Citizen, and I'm still hoping that goes in. But I know that he has a mandate right now to put more normal styles of hair, like, well, not that my hair isn't normal, but like to put more traditional styles of hair, like where it's not like an extreme style, the more basic styles, because I don't think they have enough of those. So yeah, I don't see anything in the comm links. Dev trackers are talking about stress tests for 4.1.1. They did a call to arms, so if you're ready, get ready to stress test 4.1.1 and the PTU to get that ready for release. Yeah, and I don't see anything else in here. So bring me your questions. Bring me your questions. The RSI Polaris will be available to all testers this weekend. Hey, there you go. All right, so that's all the news, it looks like. I got till the 28th to figure it out. I'm going to put in a ticket, give it a few days. If they don't answer the ticket, then I'll just buy it with real money and then have them give me the $15 in credits back. It's not that much money. Star Jump and X, we're talking about it? Okay. Those are some pretty solid sources. Yeah, if they're stress testing the Polaris, that actually gives credence to the fact that they might be releasing the Idris. Because maybe they want to shorten the gap, like, because the gap between the Polaris and the Idris is too wide right now, which makes me kind of down on the Polaris, because I thought the Polaris and the Idris were going to be, I thought the Idris would be the more capable combat ship, but I didn't think that it would be like, I need two Polaris to beat an Idris. I thought it would be, if I'm good enough in my Polaris and it's fully crewed, then I can beat like a crew that's, subpar in their Idris. Like, and it just seems like that's not the case. I did hop into the game yesterday to finish up my Drake Golem review. So if you haven't checked out the Golem review, go check it out. I have a very, I think, unique opinion about the Golem. So go check that out. It's already on YouTube. It already released. Go check that out when you're done here. The Apollo, I think, is coming at either IAE or at CitizenCon. The funding rewards are not going to come until the release of the game. Some of them have already been given out, but most of them are not going to come until the release of Star Citizen. Not the release of Squadron 42, but the release of Star Citizen. Oh, what was I trying to buy? Oh, I did take it off that screen. Because, credit card information and stuff. But I was just trying to buy 2 skins from this spring sale that they're doing. I was trying to buy a Atlas skin and a F7 skin. Here, let me pull up my fleet real quick, and it's been so long since I bought, like, you know what? It hasn't been that long. I bought a ship in February because I bought the Heartseeker. But I hadn't been intending to buy that since December, so it's not like I guess it doesn't still feel new. I was just excited to get it, but once I got it, it was like, oh, this is not as good as I thought because they did it differently than I thought they would. So it's not that it's bad. It's just that if you have an F7A, well, I said that in my review. If you have an F7A, I don't think the Heartseeker is as necessary because you could just get the upgrade kit and put the Heartseeker stuff on there. Whereas like the F7, the Super Hornet is only good to me with that on it. Well, it's kind of good without it, but yeah, it's not a ship I need anymore. I need another two-seater. I don't need a two-seater. I want a two-seater. Let me be very clear. I think I'm very much so on the end of getting things that I want, not things that I need. But excuse me, I have a whole lot of stuff that, oh wait, it's not docks, it's sheets. Yeah, this should be sheets, not docks. Where's my docks? Just need a quick look at the fleet. Look at that. I haven't even opened my fleet books since February 17th. That's 2 full months, folks. That's how you know I took a legitimate break. You know, trying to keep. If you haven't heard, if you didn't hear in one of the previous streams or videos, I did take a break. You know, just to make sure I didn't burn out and stuff like that. So that's why I haven't been releasing a lot of videos, haven't been streaming a lot. My birthday came up. I was actually planning on working through my birthday. That's how I knew I needed a break because I was like gonna do a whole bunch of YouTube stuff on my birthday and I was like, wait a minute. Like that's not how that's supposed to work. So yeah, I took some time off. I'm back though. I'm back. We'll be ramping up towards Invictus, and then once Invictus hits, I'll get back to that schedule you're used to with like maybe 3 or 4 videos a week. So it'll get real interesting real quick. Did I do an update to my score on the Valk? I don't think so. I haven't did any updates yet on my scores. I'll probably do that this summer, but I'm supposed to be starting I'm writing a book, if you didn't know. I am writing a book about my life. I haven't told you guys any details about my life because you probably don't care about that stuff. But I am writing a book, so that is my primary goal for the next 4 months. But you will get regular content from me. But I did intend on starting my org, which I still might get some of the prep work done this summer, but I'm actually going to have some time off not this semester, but next spring. So about a year from now, I'll have a lot of time off. So that's probably when I'll launch my org. So 2026, right before. But I should be ready to launch it before I launch it, like months before I launch it. I just don't want to launch it unless I can actually like do all the footwork to get people in, and because I'm gonna have like training programs and it's gonna be a bunch of stuff. But anyway, back to my point. I took some time off. I'm back, but I think the best sign of that is that I haven't looked at my fleet in a long time. To be fair, though, I don't really need to look at my fleet. I kind of know what's in it. Man, I have a lot of stuff. If you count all the vehicles I have and all the ships, I have 41. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Some of this stuff is free though. Well, not free, but like I got it because of whatever. Huh. But I needed to look here to see like, because I just haven't looked at it in a while. So I normally sort this by price. Okay, so Kraken. Merchantman. Ironclad Assault. Ironclad is coming out this year. So I think we're getting the Ironclad and the Apollo this year. Like, I think we're actually going to have those flyable. Um, I would also not put it over CIG for the Ironclad to release during Invictus, but it doesn't really seem like an Invictus ships. It seems more like it's so well loved that I would say that, and it's such a big ship that I think they'll probably wait till, uh, at the very least, wait until CitizenCon for that one. Um, Constellation, Phoenix, Emerald, the Starlancer BLD is coming. TAC is coming. That's the one I was trying to think of. This is why I needed to look at my fleet, because I knew my fleet was going to remind me of what was coming. The Starlancer TAC, I think we're going to get the Starlancer TAC at Invictus. I think we're getting the TAC at Invictus. I might have talked about that already, but I do think we're getting it. Okay, and yes, I have an F7A and I have an F7 Super Hornet. I thought I had more. Man, I just got like 25 skins for like this one ship. I probably overdid it on the skins. But so actually I have 42 because I forgot to add in. Let me duplicate this. I just do this and then there. Um, yeah, I forgot that I bought the Atlas Geo. And that is our mining. Let's see. All right. Now our fleet is updated. Man, I have way too many ships. Woo, I got a lot of ships, man. Okay. So I'm saving the Razor EX until I get a Razor. Okay. Now things are making sense. All right. When you spend a little time away from the game, you gotta ease yourself back in. What was I gonna do? Something related to my fleet. Atlas Rock, Ursa, Razor. Oh, that's what I was gonna do. Am I missing something? Oh, my buybacks. I forgot. I forgot to use my buybacks. I still have my buybacks. I'll probably wait till the Invictus sale though. Wait, what just happened? Did we just get more paints? Oh no, I'm on the paint page. I was like, wait a minute, what happened? Okay. Um, this is really weird. The way that they do the website now is just it's a little weird. It looks cooler though. I'll definitely give them that. It does look cooler. All right, here we go. This is what I was trying to get to. Very cool. There's a lot of people coming to the game. All right, now I'm caught up. I think I am officially caught up with everything. All right, so looks like we got some questions in here. A question that I have, Cody Fox says, a question that I have been having that no one has considered yet is like, what kind of release cadence would CIG need to complete all the capital ship backlog in a reasonable amount of time? I think there's like 12 capitals in the backlog now, including a couple variants like Kraken, Kraken Privateer, 2 years. It depends on whether they're still scaling up their teams as far as like, are they hiring more people to put on the ship team? How quickly are those people going to be trained to actually work on these ships? Because normally everybody has to like complete one little project first. Um, I would guess it would be faster than 2 per year, though. I would say 3 per year is more likely, which would divide that time. And I think if you count the capitals they have now, I think we'll have all of them by the end of 2028. So I'd say about 3 years and some change. All of the ones we have now, we will have within the next 3 years. So that does not include ones that they add in the next 3 years, but I'm not 100% sure we're going to get a lot more capitals. They still have a few more capitals that they have to release, but I'd say in the next 3 years, we might only add 2 capitals. So, yeah. But I would say every ship that is currently like scheduled for release, as in like it's a ship you can purchase, I think those will all be done in the next 3 years, and I think they will release 3 of them per year. What's up, Rhino? I am a Nautilus lover, Mishi. With maximum CCU savings, could you see the value of having multiple Nautilus? No. One per. I don't even it's you got to remember, even though I love the Nautilus, it is a very niche ship even if you need one. So having two, unless I'm running an org that is specifically geared to the niche that is the Nautilus, I really couldn't see a reason for two. You're gonna there's so much more you could do with that money. Like instead of getting a Nautilus, there's other ships that I would buy two of. Like I would get an Endeavor master set. Like if I was going to buy two of a ship, I would get two Endeavor master sets. Or trying to think of like other ships, two Pioneer. I would get what else? Another two Perseus, so that you always have one ready to go. Because you're fighting when you're fighting. Any combat ship, having two of those is going to be much more useful, because while one takes a week to come back, you have the other one that you can get the crew in, and you can hop in that one. And yeah, so yeah, there's just a whole lot of other stuff that I would buy two of before I got to buying two of those, two Nautilus. Do I still have 3 Endeavors? Yes, I do. And I do still think it's a good idea. So I think if you're only going to buy 2 Endeavors, um, you don't need a master set. Once you get to the 3rd Endeavor, though, I do think you need a master set. It makes more sense. It becomes more cost effective the more Endeavors you purchase. And I think at 2 you could get a master set, but I just don't think you have enough need for the master set unless you know you're going to be doing all of those things from the outset. Then I would argue you only need one of them. And I like, instead of buying 2 Endeavors, I would buy 1 master set. But if you're going to buy 2 Endeavors, there's no reason to get the master set if you only got 2 Endeavors. Unless you're going to get 3, then the master set doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And like I said, that's only because the reason to get the master set is so that you can get that LTI on each one of the modules. So yeah, that's really the main reason to get that. What's up, Gasoline? Let's see. Who else did we get to jump in here? Whisper Wins. Raygun, what's up? D14, what's up? Let's see. Can I do this? Here, can I make this bigger? Yes, I can make this bigger. I should have made this bigger a long time ago. Let's see. Do I think the Polaris should be a good striker while the Idris is a more capable defense and crowd control ship? I think the Polaris should be the Idris's weakness. Like, I think the Idris should be extremely defensible against most ships until it comes against the Polaris, because I think that ship is literally built to beat the Polaris, or the Polaris is meant to beat the Idris. I think because Polaris should be able to like stay a little bit further back doing pop shots at the Idris to keep it busy while the, and obviously trying to land that critical size 10 torpedo hit, right? But it's the main goal, I think, of the Polaris is to make sure that an Idris stays busy while other smaller bombers can get hits and like attack it by piece and stuff like that and slowly take it down. But the Idris itself is supposed to, it's not like, it's more of a, we're going to release a crap ton of fighters to take out the bombers that are not prepared for the fighters. And then we're going to try to land some hits with our missiles and some hits with our like, we're the only time we're going to shoot that size 10, that massive gun on the front, is if a larger ship enters the fray, right? Like, Polaris is going to be too far away, or like it's going to dodge it too easily. But like, if like, let's say a hammerhead or something comes into it, like, that's what we're going to use that on. But with the Idris, I'm more so worried about my turrets. The turrets are the biggest thing. The turrets and the ships that you have down below that are getting released out. So like, my turrets are going to be doing a lot of damage. The ships that I release, those are going to... So it's more about what you bring with an Idris. You can... If you are only concerned about a Polaris, like maybe one blew your Idris up a while back, you could outfit an Idris to specifically take out a Polaris. But I don't think that an Idris, without being specifically fitted to do so, should be able to take out a Polaris. I think a Polaris, without any extra steps, should be able to take out an Idris that is not prepped for the Polaris. And I think the Idris should always be able to take out a Polaris if it's propped properly. So I think that's the balance there. How funny would it be if the Ironclad Assault came out for DrakeCon, and the base model came out a month later. I don't think they'd do that because I think CIG would want to do a sale for both of them. So like that would be funny, but I don't think they'd do that. Money for money reasons. Yes, D14. I bought. That's what I was trying to do earlier in the stream. I was trying to buy 2 paints from the spring sale, and it wasn't going through. We do need an anvil cap ship. I 100% agree there. Let's see. Oh yeah. I can do another video of the fleet after Invictus, but I don't know if it'll be necessary because I don't think I'll add that many ships during Invictus. Like, it depends on what they're releasing, obviously. But if they released Attack, I already own Attack. If they released the build, I have a CCU that's already like just waiting on the price of that. And like, well, they wouldn't do the build probably because it's not at Invictus. Maybe if they release like a new version of the F8, like an F8X or something. There's very few things that I think that are gonna come at Invictus that I would want, unless there's like an Anvil Capital or something like that. Like obviously that would like, blow everybody's mind. But unless we get something like that, there's not gonna be a whole lot of changes to my fleet. Probably 3 or 4 things, but I'll definitely do a fleet video. I love talking about my fleet. Of course I'll do a fleet video. Even though I spent way too much money on it. And no, I wouldn't do it all over again. Everybody asks me that. I would not do it over again because I would be smarter if I did it. I would be much smarter if I started over and you gave me the same amount of money and said, you have to spend this on Star Citizen. How are you going to spend it? I would have done a lot different stuff. Because most of that money would have gone to getting better like computer equipment and stuff like that rather than spending it on ships, as long as we're saying that that's related to playing Star Citizen. Yeah. With the Nautilus being allowed to dump mines and you can get out of the ship, so I was thinking more mines in an area. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think if you are like with a Nautilus, if you are doing stuff where that type of thing you just described is your primary thing, like if that is something that you primarily do, then I could see getting 2 Nautilus. If that's something you primarily do. I just don't know a whole lot of people where their whole operation is going to be, let's drop a bunch of mines everywhere, or let's like I can imagine that being a task, being a minesweeper, and even a fun task, being a minesweeper mine layer. But I just don't see that being anybody's primary task, which is why I don't think the Nautilus, buying 2 of them would make a whole lot of sense. What's up, Panzer? Will the Anvil Capital ship be a carrier competing with the Kraken? I don't know. I haven't looked at any of the leaks or anything. I don't even know if that Asgard thing is gonna actually be an Anvil ship. So if there's leaks with this stuff, I don't know. But I don't think it would be a carrier so much as it competes with the Kraken. I think it'll have some other primary purpose. So remember, like the Kraken, you got the Kraken and the Kraken Privateer. The Kraken, the base Kraken has the Dragonfly bays and stuff, but the Privateer has the shops, right? So like, what I'm thinking is it'll have a different base purpose than the Kraken. So like, let me go to the Kraken's page for a bit just to talk about this subject. Here, so you don't have to look at my face, right? So here's some stuff about the Kraken, right? internal hangars, landing platforms, Dragonfly Bay, um, and escape pods. And then when you go look at the privateer, it's got the private market, the public market, same stuff. And it's got, I think it has more of these habitation units. So yeah, and they're all gonna get med bays. So yeah, but I think when we like the same way the Idris is a different ship, right? Like the Idris and the Kraken are for different purposes. The Idris is obviously more of a like defensive command base thing, right? But like with it's like a balanced ship. I wouldn't say it's defensive, but it's meant to be like the center of a fleet, right? It's supposed to be what people fly when they can't bring out like their javelin, right? Like obviously you're only going to bring the javelin out when you have these massive numbers of people, so you need something a little bit smaller for like smaller skirmishes and engagements, right? So the Idris comes out, right? And so I think that's what it is. It's a javelin light, so to speak. And it's balanced. It's supposed to be offensive and defensive, right? The Polaris is extremely like offensive based, right? And the Kraken is more like, how much money can I make? Like, it's either the carrier or it's how much money can I make as like a space station, like a moving space station, right? And I think when they do the Anvil Capital, it'll have its own little two things, right? Like it'll be, uh, maybe it'll be more medical centered, right? Like it still has like all this amazing fighting capability, right? But like maybe they have like multiple hospitals in it or something. Like not hospitals, but like multiple med bays and stuff, or advanced medical technology where it's got like 15 uh, beds. Like maybe it'll be like not a hospital ship, but like that's the way it supports combat, right? Like it can fight, but it also has like a medical interior, right? Where it's more medical geared, you know? And then maybe a variant of it would have, I'm trying to figure out, like maybe all the medical stuff is changed out for, we don't have like a very large refinery ship. So maybe the rest of it, they can go and say, hey, like Drake, we can do some, industrial stuff too. And maybe it'll be more refinery based, like where you can take stuff and refine it or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but I think that's the way that ship will be. Because it could also go balance the other way where the Idris, has a bunch of guns, right? Like if you look at the Idris, it has all those turrets at the top, and then it's got a few ships that can go in it, right? But what if the like the Anvil version focused more on missiles? Like it had like a bunch of missile turrets and stuff, right? Now, obviously you can always run out of missiles, but like I'm just saying maybe it's a little bit more cargo based in that way too, because it has cargo where you can store a bunch of missiles to resupply yourself, but also, maybe that means it has less, like the hangar part is smaller because it has the cargo attached to like being able to fill your reserves, right? And maybe that also means it has more ballistic weapons too. So, I think there's a lot of ways they can go, but whatever they do, it'll have, that fighting capability, whether it's more offensive or defensive, and then it'll have something different than the Kraken that like undergirds all of that. What's up, folks? Squirrel Lords, Panda, what's up? JF, what's up? Simon, what's up? Thanks, Mishi. I appreciate the tier 1 sub. Much appreciation. What's up, Great War Mage? M&A1, what's up? Let's see. Cruise around in your Cutlass. That is a great way to cruise around. That's a great cruising ship. Like jack of all trades. I hope I answered what the cap ship would be like for Anvil. Um, let's see. So if we go to all the ship types, um, they got so combat, transport, exploration, right? All these things, right? Um, I think Anvil Capital. I think I don't want to beat a dead horse and do this all over again. I just did it, right? But like it's gonna be good at combat. It's gonna be good at. It's gonna have a lot of cargo capacity. I think those are things that are like givens for any capital ship. But I also think it's gonna be when its type of support will be different, right? It'll be medical based because none of the other capital ships are medical based. It'll be like super fast or something. It's very possible that that's the thing that it gets is that the Anvil capital ship is the fastest capital ship. Like it moves like it's one size smaller than it is. And that's what makes it great is it's like this massive capital ship, but it can get everywhere fast. Like that is very possible. And then it could be, I don't think it'll be like salvage or mining. I think those are a little bit too out of the ordinary for a ship like this. Like they're a little bit too specific. But the only other thing I could think of is exploration. Like it'll be able to travel further. Like it'll have massive. Uh, it could be like a gas ship, right? It could be the gas capital. Where it has these massive gas stores and it can travel, super far in the verse. It's the military version of something like the Pioneer or the Odyssey, right? It's the massive like. Well, what if we're like, like if you're a pioneer, like if you taking a pioneer, you're not doing that with like a massive military, right? That's like a civilian thing. The pioneer is gonna be, I'm trying to start my own base for my own purposes, and like it may be a little militaristic, but that's not like what the purpose of owning a pioneer is, right? And the same thing with like people who have an Odyssey. I mean, assuming that's the capital, the biggest we're going to get as far as an exploration ship. That again, it doesn't have a real military focus. That's more of a like, trying to see what's out there type of focus. That's more like a Star Trek type of thing, where Star Trek, the dudes on the ships in Star Trek could fight. Don't get me wrong, but they weren't a military. So I think it's very possible that you know an explorer, it could have an explorer kind of, like you lean into the explorer portion a little bit with the Anvil ship. But I think the most likely is the medical. I think the most likely is the medical. I think it'll be either have a variant that's medical, or it'll just have more medical bays than other ships. I think it'll be something like that, if I had to guess. There is also, I think, another cool thing would be there is the possibility that the Anvil Capital can have something unique where it's like it has one pad that can fit another large ship, right? Like the pads that are on the Kraken are, you can fit up to a medium-sized ship, I believe, right? But the pads on they could do a thing where the pads on the Anvil Capital, where they can fit like either like two massive ships, like two other large, like because it's a capital ship, it can fit two large ships, or maybe it can just fit one specific large ship if it's positioned a certain way or something like that. Like it can fit most large ships or something. Like that would be crazy too. Well, a pure science ship, I think I don't know if they'll do a pure science ship because I think the closest we're going to get to that is the Endeavor. Even though it's not pure science, because there's so many things that it has to do with science. Um, yeah, that's another thing too, Panda Gaming, making those heavy cruisers where it's like it's bigger than an Idris but smaller than a Javelin. Definitely. Um, it could even be a competitor to the Idris. That would be completely acceptable. I just don't know what a competitor would look like. So like the Idris has a lot of like javelin things in it, so it would have to be another like balanced ship that's one step below the javelin. Maybe it's a little slimmer, can carry a little less. It does all the same things as the Idris, but imagine it being a little slimmer and a little faster, and then carrying less, and then allowing less ships in its hangar because it has a smaller hangar. But and then maybe the guns aren't as big or something like that. That's what I can imagine where it's like more focused on maneuverability for its size, like maneuverability and speed for its size, but it's still like tough to take down. Anvil's not gonna do a science ship. Best I can say is maybe like Argo. I think Argo would do one. I think we could always get an alien one. But I think alien science is just kind of a hard sell to CR. So I think Consolidated Outland would do one. I think Argo would do one. Who else? Um, I could see Drake doing one. I just don't. Drake, I think, would be more likely to do like science ships with a specific purpose towards like lab equipment or something like that. Like that might be it. But yeah, I don't see a whole lot of people that would do that. Origin, I would love to do it. Origin is just on that. They're on that because they are, but they already have like a that thing where they could do medical or science. I think because of the cleanliness of Origin, like how clean everything is looks and their dedication to the white aesthetic, I think that you could do Origin as far as like a pure science ship, and that would work really well. But yeah. So what did I say? I think I said Origin. I don't really want it to be RSI or MISC. Those are. I mean, MISC could do it, but MISC already has the Endeavor, so that's why I didn't mention them because I don't think they would. I think it should be Origin or Argo. Origin or Argo. I mean, Consolidated Outland could do it, but I just, you know, I don't. They deserve more ships, but I just don't. I don't know if they would do that. I think they would want it to be either an Argo or something different. Cause like I can imagine the Origin 700 being like a medical ship or a science ship with like, that way they can justify it being somewhere between like the 600i and the 890. But yeah, who knows? Like, it's fun to talk about. Let's see. Man, we've been going for an hour already? All right, we still got another hour to go. This is a long one. Um, I I see what you're saying with the pure science ship though, because you could just have one that is like has all of the things you need for science already in it but it's not modular, so you can't turn it into a medical ship or turn it into a ship with a super collider or any of that stuff. But like maybe it has all the research stuff and all that other stuff. It has cages for animals and stuff like that. So I could see that happening too. Anvil should come out with a ship called Anvil that's meant for ramming things. The Anvil. It would have to be the most Anvil ship ever. What I think you're going to be able to buy is, I think for decoration, you're going to be able to buy a anvil, like an actual anvil, like the metal things that you hit things with or hit things on. I think you'll be able to buy an anvil that's made by Anvil. And I think that'll just be a decoration thing. I don't think they'll actually make a ship like it though. Maybe a weapon, maybe like a or a shield or something like that. What's up, Shimpasta? Oh, okay, let's talk about it, Panda. You said a ship to fill the gap between the Polaris and Idris. Let's see here. Let me get to my list here. I'm trying to think what would be a ship in between those, because I think they're close enough to where fitting a ship in between those would seem a little hard to me. I would think a variant of the Polaris, maybe. Like if they took the Polaris and like made like a larger like version. Nah, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. I don't know. I don't know. You know what? The Polaris actually has a lot of medical beds too. The Polaris and the 890 Jump both have like a lot of medical stuff. So, maybe they won't, do the medical version of the Anvil. Maybe it'll be something else. It'll be yeah, I think I'm changing my mind on that as I like think about it more. I think it would be more likely to be like either it could be like it could be like the Idris, but like more maneuverable and faster with less guns and with smaller guns and less cargo capacity. Or and that would fill that gap that you're talking about, by the way. That would fill the Polaris to Idris M gap. Um, or it could be. I don't think it'll focus on freight. I don't think it'll focus on moving ships because you got the Kraken for that. Um, Maybe something with electronic warfare. Um, yeah, or it would have to be like a larger Polaris if it was going to be like a bomber or something like that. But I don't think they would do that. So yeah, it's either going to be exploration, some type of electronic warfare where it uses like EMPs or something like that. I can imagine that being really cool. Like if its whole suite was like maybe a stealth yeah, that would actually be. I think that's my new favorite idea for yeah, a stealth capital. Yeah, that would make an incredible ship, a stealth capital that focused on like electronic warfare, interdiction, stuff like that. So like it's the base where like if one of these is in the area, it's pulling everything in towards it and then like disabling the ships and then boarding the ships, you know, and like it's like a spider. I would call it like the anvil spider or something like that. Where it like catches things in the web and then boards and like takes it over and stuff. Ooh, I like that. Well, it wouldn't be the spider. It would be the name of a spider, like the recluse or something like that. Like the I think they already widow is already a drug, so they're not gonna do that for the name of a ship. I don't know. Like it would have to be some like type of like spider name or something like that. I think that would be really cool. Yeah, that's my new favorite idea. Yeah, a cap ship with a huge EMP, size 10. Like something that could like if you're flying near this thing and it hits that EMP, your ship is just dead for like 5 minutes. That or like your ship if your ship is small enough, your ship is just dead in the water. Like like yeah, it would be crazy. It would be crazy. And it could be stealthy too, so like it's hard to even detect it. Now you can't give it like a bunch of like a whole bunch of guns and stuff that would be overpowered or stuff. It would have to be like bespoke weapons that are meant to disable. If you give it like size 10 other stuff, like yeah. Yeah. That's my new favorite. Ooh, I like the Huntsman. Yeah. Yeah. There you go, CIG. If you're watching this, uh, there's only like 20 people watching, so CIG's probably not watching. But if they watch it later, uh, we just built a capital ship for you. I mean, it doesn't have to come from Anvil, but the Anvil Huntsman. I love that name. I think we could look up some spiders. Uh, the Anvil Tarantula. The Anvil Wolf. Well, that's a wolf spider. That would get a little mixy, so you can't use that one. The Anvil Anansi, which was like that spider that was known as the trickster in African folklore. Yeah, come on, man. There's some that's a good idea. I think we stumbled onto something. A stealth capital with electronic warfare, boarding, and interdiction as its like primary roles. It's gonna pull you out of the sky. It's gonna pull you out of quantum. It's gonna disable you, and then everything else about it is meant to either keep you disabled, keep you from escaping, and to board your ship. That would be freaking awesome. And imagine pairing that with the ship we were talking about earlier, the Nautilus. If we pair that with a Nautilus and you're bringing these people into your minefield, man. Like imagine like you're just going about your day and all of a sudden you're pulled out of quantum and there's mines all around you. That would be insane. That would be absolutely insane. Yeah, a pirate base of operations. In Kisune, welcome. That is exactly, that would, come on now. Come on, folks. We just did something here. This is really cool. This is really cool. We just came up with, I think, a unique ship design. I don't know if anybody's talked about what we're talking about right now. I'm sure the game's been out for 13 years. Somebody's probably talked about it, but it would be the pirate capital. The pirate capital ship. Tell me that thing would not sell like hotcakes. Man, and it pairs so well with so many other ships. And it's a version of combat that we just do not have. Like something completely devoted to not destroying ships, but capturing ships, looting ships, whatever, right? And you can imagine using it on both sides, right? If it's a pirate capital over here, then it's also used by police over here to catch pirates, right? Because imagine like police having, you know, police force, some version of a police force going to pyro with one of these and just catching everybody that's in the pyro system and like doing a checkpoint with these. Like, we pulled you in, we're gonna disable your ship if you don't tell us, like, if you don't tell us whether you're a criminal or not, or like if you don't let us inspect your ship or whatever. So it works for both sides. Yeah, the bounty hunter capital. Yeah. So yeah, we just created the anvil ship of everybody's dreams. So maybe I'll make a video about it. You guys tell me if you've heard that before, though, before I make a video and make myself look like an idiot. But the anvil Hachinosu. Yeah, there's so many. We'll workshop some names in the video too. Maybe that'll be like my next video, since I think that's just a really cool idea. And I would love to, you know, maybe there's a problem with it that we're not seeing in this small group. So I think that would also be a great way to get people to like weigh in on it and like, you know, type, you know, yeah, or make it do this. And I think it could start a really good conversation that might lead to, I think this might lead to CIG being interested. I wish there was a CitizenCon. I would pitch this directly to some people. But yeah, I'll make a video on that, and we'll see what that is. The we'll for now we'll use the Anvil Huntsman. That's what we'll call it, just for the sake of this conversation. But yeah, Anvil Huntsman, freaking EMP interdiction and boarding. Yeah. And that way you can justify putting size 10 crazy weapons on it because it's not actually killing anything. But imagine it being able to also like disable an Idris, disable a Polaris if it got too close. And that would just be a whole new version of combat. A whole new version. So yeah, we definitely need to do a video on that. Oh yeah, I love that. 10 with the ideas. Catch the Smoke would definitely be a really cool like theme for like the commercial. Like I don't know, you know how people say like I want all the smoke or whatever? It could also be like you can catch the smoke or something like that. That could get really cool really quickly. Yeah, it would have to be squishy, right? And the AoE on the EMP has to be crazy. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, if a ship like this, you say like the AoE on the EMP has to be massive, but it has to be hard not to hit your other team with it. I think this is a communication thing. Like, if I'm gonna hit this massive AoE, you already know the range of it, so you need to make sure before I hit it, you're outside that range, because I'm gonna scream to the team and say, hey, EMP in 10 seconds, which lets you know, break off your engagement and like go crazy. Yeah, but you can figure out a way to make it work with your team, through just communication. Panzer with the 5-month subscription. Appreciate you. If you didn't know, folks, you can go to Amazon Prime and you get if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free subscription that you can use for anybody on, on Twitch. So it's a free subscription. You can subscribe and get all of their subscription, joy points or whatever. Yeah, and it's free if you have Prime. So if you want to do that with this channel, it's always appreciated. But if you want to do it with another channel, it's just good to know. Now you're wondering what a gray cat capital ship? Maybe that should be my next series. Folks seem really interested in this. Maybe we should just try to make some new ships. I'm not an artist, so I'm not gonna be able to draw something and be like, this is what the ship should look like. But I can definitely find some ships, whether they're ships that yacht things that look like yachts or things that or it's actual planes and stuff like that, and I could kind of give some ideas of what I think it could look like to make it look different. But yeah, maybe that'll be my next series. That seems like a pretty good series. What would Gray Cat do? What would there's so many companies that can make it. What would it look like if it was a consolidated Outland ship? What would it look like if it's a Crusader ship, etc. Right? So yeah, I think that'd be a pretty cool series. Don't give them hints on subscriber flare. Half the base would hate. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what that means. But I don't know. Is there a subscriber? Oh yeah, you can do things. I don't know a whole lot about Twitch. I probably should know more. I've been streaming for a year now. Or is it? No, it hasn't been a year. It's been 6 months. But still, I've been streaming for 6 or 7 months, so I should know a lot more than I know, but I don't. Do I worry about the implementation of exploration at all with the PTU? Do you think it will take away from true discovery? No, because exploration should be about going to places people have not been, but just as much as it's about going to places that people have not been, it's also about discovering things in those places that people have not found. So if I'm going to a place that somebody already found, maybe it's a cave, right? But maybe they walked through the cave but didn't have the right scanning equipment. So they didn't know that there were, mining deposits all through here that have this extremely rare mineral. So I don't worry about exploration because it's so multifaceted and it's so there's levels to it. There's so many things you can do where it's finding a place, but then let's just take place from a top-down approach, right? You can find a planet, right? Obviously we're not going to be able to do that yet at this level, maybe in 15 years after the game comes out. But you're not going to be out there exploring and finding planets, right? So we know that's off. But maybe you're probably not going to be exploring and finding cities either, right? So scaling down, right? So at most you're finding an abandoned outpost. You're finding a watchtower or something like that, right? And then you're telling people where these things are. Maybe it's a base, right? Somebody's base that was built on a planet, and you're reporting that, hey, did you guys know there's a base that's there? And then going smaller, maybe it's a cave you find, an undiscovered cave. Inside that cave, maybe you found a hidden path, right? On that hidden path, maybe you found ore or something like that, right? Just, you can see how you can scale it down, and that's just with finding places, right? Then there's animals, then there's variations of animals. If you've ever played Pokemon, it's they have the actual Pokemon itself, and then they have, what is it called? What's that word for Pokemon? Shiny. They have shiny Pokemon where it's a different color, right? So imagine, man, I can't think of the animals in Star Citizen. Let's take the Valentine's. like the Valacar. Imagine if there was like a black Valacar, a green one, right? They kind of already confirmed this. They said there's going to be variants of the Valacar where, like, depending on the planet, it has a different look to it and stuff. But what I'm talking about is different than that. I'm saying, like, if if let's say you find one of these green Valacar, right? Maybe there's like a dark green one, and that one is super rare, but it also has like an extra attack to it or something, or maybe it has an abundance of resources, or maybe it has a it's very difficult to fight or something like that. I don't know, but if you find out that that thing exists, right, and nobody else knows that this thing exists, CIG can hide little variants of things, which all it is to them is a color shade and a probability check, right? Like, that you'll run into this thing. But maybe there's a way to increase the odds that you run into it, and that's what the explorer does. They're out there looking for the animal that nobody has found yet. They're out there looking for the piece, the cave. They're exploring the cave to see if there's a mineral deposit nobody's found. They're climbing mountains to see, like, what's at certain points of this mountain. Is there like a secret mining deposit that you can only find by being close to it? There's just so many things you can do with exploration that, yeah, I just it's just so many levels to it that I'm not worried about it. No cap with Billionaire Ninjas. 10. Killing it with the... I think that's it. I think that's what we're going to name it, 10. No cap with Billionaire Ninjas. I love it. All right. No cap episode 1. No cap episode 2. I like it. I really like it. I'm just going to come to 10 from now on for all my names for everything. Yeah. But I am super excited for the exploration thing, because I just think there's so, like, exploration is such a general word that you can fit so many things into that. And especially with their faction system where you have to work for different groups, like, maybe that's like, if you want to go up a rank, you have to find this dark green Valacar. And we have no idea what planet it's on. We have no idea about anything, but, like, after you get so much rank with us, we'll tell you the things we know about it, like how to increase the odds of you running into it. And then if you get one, you get to go to our next level. And, like, there's just so many things. Uh-oh. Are we offline on Twitch? It says I'm live, but then my video looks like it's... Twitch is online? Okay. Okay, just making sure. Yeah, I think, well, Rams Uchiha, you're talking about the power draw from the quantum and stuff would be so much you can only use certain weapons. I do think it needs to be able to defend itself with weapons that are big enough to, like, at least put a dent in something. So I wouldn't go as low as 3 or 4. I would say size 5s and 6s, like you're saying there. And they could be ballistic so that they don't have a massive power draw. But yeah, it shouldn't go much higher. It should, I mean, 5 and 6 should probably be as high as it goes. But I think the primary defense you would be using is your power drawing things. But I think you have to have stuff that has no power draw in case you get, like, one of these ships is used on you and your ship is, like, out of order. You should still be able to fight back a little bit with something, that's low powered. A chef career path? I am, like, 100% certain we are getting a chef career path. I don't think it'll be, maybe it won't be called chef, but it'll be like a path through like exploration or something that you or medical that you can take, right? Like where you prepare medicines and you learn how to prepare food because you need to go and get all these animals and they have certain glands and stuff that you get and you're using that for medicines, but like you could also use it for cooking. Like you find that, like we were just talking about that, like you like the Valacar steaks like you're talking about, you find that, you know, that dark green Valacar and maybe you can make the best Valacar steaks ever or something like that. Are you going to organize your org or are you going to separate it by industrial, combat, and support? It will. My org will have sections. I was gonna do it like the military, but I think the military system can be improved upon. Like, not saying that like I'm a four-star general or anything, but I think there's things that people who have been in the military and have seen how things work at uh, the worldwide level, you can start to see like some of the flaws that are in the system that people just haven't, like people are so used to a system that they don't want to change it. But you can, like, everybody knows the system could be better. It's just the amount of people you'd have to convince to switch to the new system is the reason why you can't switch to the new system. Um, but yeah, I think I'm going to use like, it depends on what careers are available. But I think I would try to split it up into a maximum of like 10 sections where, yes, there'll be industrial in this one, combat, support, like stuff like that, but it'll probably be a little bit more granular, um, depending on how many members I have as well. Because if you only have 50 members, you're going to need exactly 5 in each one of those, or you're going to need people to do multiple sections, like maybe I do industrial and combat or whatever. Um, so it depends on like how many people I get. It depends on like, because I'm gonna do interviews for the org, to some degree, not like interviews like, I'm going to interview you for a job, but I mean like I'm gonna send out like there's gonna be things that you can fill out that'll be like your application form for the org, and then I like it doesn't have to be like a Zoom meeting or anything. It could just be like um, a voice meeting or something like that. You know, uh, yeah, because I want the org. I want people that are in the org to care about being in the org. That's all. And it's gonna be. I'm still trying to figure out if I'll do role play or not. And I don't mean role play like intense role play. I mean role play like, you know, one person is the general, one person is the, the sergeant, etc. I feel any capital needs 2 turrets with size 4 or 3 to make it easier. Yes, yes. So I wasn't saying like no size 4 and size 3. I'm just saying like it also needs size 5s and 6s, or at least size 5s. I would say size 6s make the most sense, but if we're doing this, it's probably not going to get those. But I would say size 6s make the most sense, and then you can have the 3s and 4s and 5s. You want a cap chef ship that specializes in cooking? I think every lab ship should be convertible to a cap chef ship. So I think every science ship should also double as a cooking ship. Like you could easily do a variant of any science ship and make it a chef, like a restaurant or something like that. So yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah. Adding people, and I have to be like, all right, so you get arrested a lot in the game. The gourmet capital ship, exactly. You got it. What's up, full met? Oh, I'm assuming that's Full Metal Jacket. Let's see. Yes. So Mishi, you mentioned something that they have already discussed. Exploration is also going to be identifying undiscovered jump gates, right? Or jump points, right? I can't remember what they're called, but there's like the jump gates where like it's an official jump gate and like the city runs it, or not the city, the that a planet runs it or the star system runs it. Um, and then there's the ones that you have to find. And then I think, I think if you identify big enough ones, like maybe that could be the exploration thing. Like maybe you can discover a hidden gate between two systems that are not normally connected by a gate. And, that would be like a massive thing but I think that would end up having to be like an org event, like an org level event. Like that's not something that a person should just be able to go out with 4 people and find this massive gate. But yeah, like undiscovered jump gates get blown up on the other side in super hostile space. Yeah, like you can find out, like you're saying here with factions, right? Like it could be that your exploration is going around and it's more like infiltrator based, right? Like your exploration is like you're a spy. I can imagine that being a really fun way of like using the reportership. I can't remember what it is. I think it's the oh man, I can't remember what the reportership is called. Somebody let me know if you in the chat. But you could use the imagine using the reportership that has the big camera on it. Imagine using stealth ships because you're a spy, right? And like that's your primary goal. Um, and then like your exploration is getting information, right? We already have recon ships, right? So I just feel like that's like a very unique job that you can go into. You mean Moby Glass? You said movie glass, you said movie message. Oh, that's awesome. You want a cake? There will definitely be cake in this game. I don't know if there'll be baking, but there will be cake. That should be a movie. That should be like, you know how Scary Movie did, and they did like Not Another Teen Movie and all of that. The funny version of There Will Be Blood should be There Will Be Cake. We got it. That's a list idea right there. This is the A list stream, the A list idea stream. More unique locations? Yes. So essential. I'm glad you asked that question. So the problem with making unique locations now is that they're trying to fill out this massive world. So I think them making everything look the same now works in the favor of getting the technology out there, getting the world out there. But you have to remember that this is a forever game as far as development, so they're always going to be developing more. And I think the more that they develop, the more unique those locations will start to look. Like the interiors will look different, the colors inside, the colors of the outside, like the weather and all this stuff. The trees will look different. Like, and that's all a step by step thing that I think we're moving towards. Man, we created a ship for we created a gourmet capital ship. We created a new career uh, where you could be a spy. I mean, unless that was already in the career list, I didn't look at it. That's probably already the career list. And then yeah, we got the Anvil Capital shit. We figuring stuff out. CIG, we're doing your job. What's up? Let's see. Yeah, you could use the Endeavor in that way where you could maybe the it becomes like a spy satellite where you're using the telescope to look at a planet, that's super far away, and maybe the telescope allows you to like zoom in and hear the conversations of people, or take pictures like those top down pictures of people and like figure out what their troop movements are and stuff. There's so much that you could do with that. The gameplay can go crazy from there. Oh, the Endeavor. Oh, Endevour. That's what you said. No, I like that. I whenever I see END and I'm thinking Endeavor. That is actually a really clever joke. That is a really clever joke, and I'm mad that I missed it the first time. I really like that. But you could. The funny thing is that it actually would work though. Like because it's a completely like you know ad hoc ship where you're putting these parts on it. You could just put like a really cool mess hall on one side, and then a really cool like kitchen on the other side, and a really cool place to store animals. Uh, a really cool place to store all the vegetables. Like, you really could do it and call it the Endeavour, and it could be a variant of the Endeavor. Like this works. I know you're joking, but it works. Yeah, I can't wait to. I can wait. That's which is why I'm waiting, right? The thing about an org, and the reason I want to start an org is like, I really liked the org I was with, but their rules basically just wouldn't allow me to stay. So it is what it is. But like, I think I would want to create my own org, not because I like want to have my name on anything, but I want a group with a collective mindset of where we want to go in the game. So my like I don't have like of course like you could just play with your friends, but like if you're playing with your friends might be like, "Well, I'm not even into any of the stuff you're into." So like I'm going to go over here, like we'll talk and we'll play together, but like we have different missions, like we're doing two different things. Our goals are different, right? But then there's playing with your friends who are in your org where your entire org has a mission, right? Like let's say our main goal is to make money, right? That's our north star. If we have to make a decision between morality and making more money, we're gonna make more money. If we have to make a choice between keeping an alliance or making more money, we're gonna make more money, right? Like that's not what my organization will be about, but like this is hypothetical, right? And so imagine that's our goal, right? So we know what our morality is. We know as a group, like this is the way we make our decisions because we've all agreed that this is our number one objective, right? And then you of course have somebody in charge of that, that's making sure, like a CEO, you're making sure that you're all moving towards that mission, but you don't dictate like the mission itself. Like you don't say, well, we're going to change our mission, right? That has to be approved by a board of people, and there has to be a vote like with majority and stuff like that, right? Where you all like move as a unit. And that's the only reason I really want an org, so I can just have my own version of that where it's all people that just want to do the that just want to do the same thing as me. All right, we're gonna run an ad because I just didn't know this was a button. We're gonna run an ad so then I can finish out the video on Twitch. But yeah, what else you got? What other questions you got? Because I know the subscribers are still here. I'd really like to see either some Sulian variants or a Gattack ship between the Sulian and the Raylan. Huh, let's look. Let's see. What's up, Mio? I hope I got everybody in here. Gasoline Moth, what's up? I think I got Panzer. Yeah, I think I got everybody else. Essential, Panda. Yeah, I got all you guys. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we are going to we're gonna answer this question. Hold on, what was the question again? Well, it's not a question; it's a statement. I'd really like to see either some Sulian variants or a Gattack ship between the Sulian and Raylan. So let's see if we can figure out what that would look like. So let's go to ships here. Gattack. Oh no, yeah, we're gonna include all the ones that are unavailable for purchase as well. This thing doesn't even, it doesn't work. Okay, that's one. And there should be two. Where's the other ship? Whatever. All right, so the Sulian is basically, it's a cargo ship. The best, I mean, if it's multi-role, right? But like, it's a cargo ship. It's got 6 places to do a cargo ship. It's got 6 SCU. And then you said between the Sulian and the Raylan has 325 or 320 or something like that. So we would need something in like the 100, 150 range. Probably a little lower than that because they don't want it to step on the toes of the larger one. So it would probably have like 120 SCU. So it would be a cargo ship with 120 SCU. But the Raylan, it has to be multi-role because the other two are multi-role. The Raylan is a blockade runner and cargo ship, and then the Sulian is a starter ship, daily driver, and a cargo ship. So it has to be multi-role. So what would be the other role of this ship? And it would have to, if it has 120 SCU, which would put it somewhere in the middle. Now we're comparing it to other ships that have 120 SCU. So it would have to be somewhere around the size of like the Mercury, Freelancer Max, Connie size. So somewhere in there. The Raft, yeah, Connie's, Raft, Mercury, it'd have to be in that range. So it'd probably be like, I can imagine it looking something like the Valkyrie as far as like its size. Yeah, maybe a little bigger. Which I think the mole's bigger. No, it would have to be Connie sized. It'd have to be Connie sized because of what it's carrying and its ability to be multi-role. So it'd have to be somewhere around the size of the Connie. Yeah, and I don't know what the other role would be. It would have to be something else because the one has like, daily driver stuff, just good living stuff, and then the other one just has extra speed as a blockade runner. So it wouldn't be like it would be like a mining ship or a salvage ship or anything like that. Maybe it would be stealthy, but stealth would make sense. Maybe I could imagine that thing having like a cloaking device because these ships always have something like unique, right? So maybe it can like lower its temps, or block everybody else's ability to read its temperatures and read its signatures, so to speak. So maybe that could be some unique thing. That would also be a cool reason to do a new ship, a new alien ship, because now you're creating this technology with it. What else we got? Man, I am super hyped now. I'm super hyped to do this video about the cap ships. I think that's a really good series of video. I owe you guys Atlas Geo video before that one though. I think got to review that thing. Atlas Geo and yeah, Atlas Geo. That's it. Yeah, and then like we got until Invictus, so yeah, we got some time. But yeah, I'm super hyped for this capital ship thing because I don't know where that I don't know where that idea came from, but I'm so glad that we talked about that. A ship with an actual cloaking device? Yes, that is crazy, right? But imagine if it's like, I wouldn't want it to be like a combat ship because if it's a combat ship, then it's like everybody's just gonna get that, right? But like, I want it to be something that's not meant to, like, it's doing it to hide. It's not doing that to sneak up on, right? Um, like to sneak up on and like attack. So I would want it to be like a spy ship or like a more defensive ship, a recon ship or a cargo ship, something like that, just to balance it out. Um, but I can imagine like a Hornet variant or something like, but you'd have to create a new classification for ships that can do that, and you'd have to balance the ability to cloak, like with maybe if a person has a certain size radar, it just doesn't even work or something, or maybe if they have a certain class of radar, a certain type of radar, uh, like I think that might balance. There's a lot that would go into doing that, but I just think that's a cool thing to put into the game anyway. So if we if we decide, hey, we're gonna do this new ship, it could also be a reason to add a gameplay feature without doing the feature creep thing, right? Like the feature creep thing is more like we're adding features just for the sake of adding features. Whereas this would be like, no, this is something that the way that you play the game is literally better if we can figure out how to balance in the ability of people to be completely invisible. Like, you know, not for any significant amount of time, but just temporarily. You can imagine how that would make fighting frustrating in a lot of ways, but also fun in a lot of ways. It would make, flying, into dangerous zones even more interesting, right? Like, you might not be able to see that cargo ship that just came in with 1,000 SEU of cargo that you want to rob, right? So, yeah, I think it just literally adds something to the game. Thanks for the subscription with Prime, Northern Tech Hermit. Much appreciated. I always appreciate it when people subscribe because, like, I never expect people to subscribe. So it's even cooler when it's like, um, you know, that's really cool. If you're just joining, we're just here. It was supposed to be a 2-hour stream. I think I could probably go for another 20 minutes or so, though. Uh, Yeah, an alien smuggling ship. Boom, there it is. David Baldwin, you got it. You aced it. Alien smuggling ship that can carry 120 SEU of cargo. There's your in between the Sulian and Raylan ship essential. There you go. But yeah, we are like I feel bad saying it because we did get the Sulian right, but I still think we need to diversify these ships a little bit. Like it's starting to look weird that Drake has so many ships, like Anvil has so many ships, RSI has so many. Like we need to, I think we need to like diverge a little bit and start making some ships from some different manufacturers. Like I was so happy to see that we're getting that Kruger ship, like an actual Kruger ship. Yeah. I think I'm most looking forward to, as far as something that's coming soon, I think I am most looking forward to. Well, I think I'm most looking forward to the Ironclad Assault, like as far as like its ability to do stuff with a garage. But that's, I mean, that's something that actually is coming soon. I mean, I'm looking forward more to other things that are not coming soon, but I'm just talking about things that are coming soon. I think, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that garage will work. Like, what can you repair? Like, what can fit inside of the Ironclad? Like, I'm really interested in just seeing the interior of that ship. Um, the Perseus. I'm really interested in how that's gonna like change the kind of fighting meta, because it'll be capable of beating a Polaris under the right circumstances, and two of these might even be better equipped at handling an Idris than two Polaris or something like, or what like the combinations are gonna be really cool. Um, we already got this stuff. The Pioneer, of course. I don't know how I could forget the Pioneer. That's probably but we'll talk about that one last. But the Starlancer TAC, I think that's going to be a contender for the best daily driver in the game as far as multi-crew ships. I don't know a better daily driver off the top of my head for a multi-crew ship. Um, like I play with 3 or 4 people on the daily type of, or very often type of ship. Yeah, that one's gonna be awesome. The Apollo Medevac, I am medical is gonna be like my niche in the game, uh, outside of base building. So like for me, it goes science and base building, but like science in the name of doing better base building and better like manufacturing, and then science in connection to um, overclocking things and like basically science in the way of making money or making better things, and then right underneath that it would be science in relation to medical. So like that's why I'm so interested in science, because it connects to my next 3 choices of careers. Like I want to do these 3 things, but I also want to do them from the science perspective. So I want to be a doctor, in more ways than one, so to speak, like the PhD, the medical doctor, etc. Um, so that's kind of my thing, like engineering. So I think that's like what I want my role to be, and those things just happen to work together. Like I can, design a new medical technique or something, I don't know, or maybe figure out how to heal people better or faster or with better boons and bonuses. Like maybe after I'm done with your surgery, your HP or your hit points to die are increased for the next hour or something like that, right? And if I do your surgery correctly, um, you can withstand more fall damage, like things like that. So that's what I'm interested in, assuming that that's the way the the gameplay goes. But that's why I'm looking so forward to medical ships, and I'm so looking forward to Death of a Spaceman, which I really hope they focus on this year at CitizenCon. You know how like they focused on like telling us what 1.0 was and telling us what Genesis was and things like that on the last one, and they focused on animals and stuff, right? Like I want there to be something where they're like, yeah, we're focused on medical. This is what medical is going to look like. Like this is the future of careers. Like all the careers, even like this whole CitizenCon could be like we started with Squadron 42 updates and a massive cool video about Squadron 42. We maybe announce a date for Star Citizen because we're getting to that point where you should be able to at least say we're gonna launch it in this year. Um, I have a date that I have been told. Uh, I'm not telling you who told me, but I do have a date in mind. Uh, I don't know if it's legit or they were just messing with me though. So it's very likely they were just messing with me. But if I haven't said that day, I'm not gonna say it now. But I do think I think it's soon. But it just depends on what your definition of soon is. But I would say less than 5 years. So that's as close as I'm gonna get to it. But it's somewhere in the middle there. But yeah, anyway, looking forward to medical gameplay. Looking forward to, to being able to create better bases because I found like the magic, you know, the magical iron inside of some planet that if you mix it with this, you need less of it. Like maybe it takes 100 iron normally to make something, but if you find this magical iron, it only takes 5 of them or something. So like I can imagine like this stuff getting really cool, especially if you're talking like an end game for each one of these types of science and improvement. But that brings me to the ship that I was wanting to talk about anyway. It's so interesting though, because every time I think about these ships, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's so many ships that I am looking forward to. But the Pioneer, being able to build bases is going to be crazy. It just sounds crazy. The ability to just put something here and then like everybody else can experience it, and it's going to have its own history and things like that. It just sounds really cool to me. But doing it with the Pioneer is going to be different. Like, great, there's going to be the BLD, there's going to be the Galaxy, but building a base with the Pioneer, I think is going to be an extremely unique, I just feel like it's going to just be more unique than the other ships and their experience. And now knowing that thing is also going to be able to mine from wherever its feet are sitting, oh my goodness. It's going to be able to create ships inside of it. Come on, man. Now you understand why it's called the Pioneer, right? Because like this thing can literally just sit somewhere. It can get you food, it can get you ore, it can get you power, it can get you everything that you need, which is why it's a base builder, right? But I just think that's insane to just be like, we're gonna set out in our Pioneer and pioneer some stuff. So I am super looking forward to that ship because it's coming soonish, as in within the next 18 months. Well, it shouldn't be 18 months anymore. It's probably be within the next year now, because they said that there was an 18-month window. But they didn't say release. They did say working on in the next 18 months. So it's still possible it comes after that. But heck, even if it comes out in the next year and a half, like I'm good with that. But I can go off on a tangent for pretty much every single one of these ships. Like I can go on a tangent about the Kraken, the Polar, like any of them. Like even all the way down to like the Razor EX that I love. So I want to see if ironclads can be stacked like a Jenga tower. I love it. I love it. With this being said, so far in the future, where all the cyborgs, that's coming. So, what I do suggest to a lot of people, if you haven't, I don't know, David, I don't know if you've already done this or so, but go back and watch all the old CitizenCon videos. Like, there's more that you can watch. Like, you can go back and watch all the Inside Star Citizens and stuff like that. But if you go back and watch as many, I wouldn't say you have to go back all the way, but if you go back to like 2015, 2016, I think that's where you'll and you follow those and watch all those videos. It's a lot of hours of watching videos, but if you go and watch all of them, you'll see little stuff in there. And that was kind of like the way that I earned my ability to talk about Star Citizen, so to speak, is I went back and watched so many videos. I watched like every single Info video. I watched every I watched every Inside Star Citizen video. I watched all of the, like, I watched all of that stuff, and just to gain more knowledge on the game. And one of the things that happens is you start to see things that they've promised that a lot of people have forgot about. Thanks, Cuban TV. Cuban TV said they just joined and they thought my Golem vid was solid. Much appreciation. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I think I don't know if I'm saying like completely unique things, but I think I do have at least one unique take on the golem or golem, whichever word we're going with. But yeah, back to what you were saying, David. Yeah, the cyborg thing does exist. So there will be it's I don't know if you can call them cyborgs, but we'll have like prosthetics. Like if you get killed, like Death of a Spaceman is supposed to be like, maybe sometimes like the closer you get towards like death or like true death, right? You know, not to not to quote True Blood, but like the true death. What the closer you get to that, like the more you put on cyborg pieces, but also it may be that you don't have to be close to death. You can just choose to have an arm that is made of something, you know. So the cyborg thing is going to be there, but it's just not a priority for what they're making in the game right now. Okay, you're right, Full Metal Jacket. Like you there's definitely some refreshes of old ones. I think I'm cool with them doing refreshes, but I definitely want them to focus on getting all the ships out before they focus too heavily on refreshes. But there are some refreshes that I think should be priority even over getting new ships out. And the Connie is one of those. The Connie is one of the most beloved ships in the game. A lot of people own it. It's one of the better ships in the game. I think that is one of those ships that deserves a refresh. I think there's other stuff too that could probably fit in there. Other old ships, but I would have to like make a list to add them all in there. But I get what you're saying. I do think some ships deserve like refreshes ahead of even new ships being made. All right. Your golem? Yeah, I mean, it's only 60 bucks. I mean, I bought an upgrade to one. I didn't buy one, but I bought an upgrade to one because I just tend to do that just to, you know, have it available if I ever do change my mind. Oh yeah, if they put those Zeus type interiors in the freaking Connie, that would be incredible. Because the Zeus's interiors, like I almost bought a Zeus just because of the interior. Like I literally was like, this is gonna be such an incredible daily driver just because these interiors look so cool. But then I was like, okay, at some point I'm gonna get tired of those interiors. So I was like, nah, I'm not gonna buy it for that. But I am getting a Zeus MR because of what it can do not for that reason, but because of what it can do. Okay. All right. I do think we are coming to the end of the stream. I have done 2 hours. So let's find get those last questions in, and we will. Oh, let me make sure I don't mess up my. Get those last questions in, and we will make sure we answer those before we raid. Last few questions you got, folks.
Of streaming at looking at chat.
Hey, the info runners are on. We're definitely gonna jump to info runners. Oops, wrong one. Oh, Pirate Swarm this weekend. So I have I have a party tomorrow, and then Sunday I have Easter stuff. So probably not this weekend, no. I don't think it'll be this weekend. Straight up, because there's too much stuff to do. And I have more videos that I have to do. So yeah, probably not this weekend. It'll probably be during the week. If I have some time, it'll probably be next Thursday at the earliest. That's the next day I can think of that I would have time, is next Thursday. All right, folks, let's get ready to raid. Any last questions before we raid? All right, I'm not seeing any new questions, but I'll wait a little while. This was really fun. I think we covered a lot. We talked about a lot. This might be like the most subjects that I've ever covered in a session, but this is also, one of my longer streams. I might get back to doing streams like this though, because I haven't been able to do as many streams. Maybe I can do some longer streams, and I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, folks, it's been a good one. I will see you all in the next one. I'll try to do these every day, but we'll see. All right, later, folks. Thanks for hanging out. Let's raid the info runners.